Namaskar. Today we will study the difference between apoptosis and necrosis. Let us first see what is apoptosis. In apoptosis, there is cell shrinkage, formation of blebs. So there is cell shrinkage and there is formation of blebs. These are called the blebs. And there is fragmentation of the nucleus. Nuclear fragmentation occurs. And the apoptotic these blebs will be converted to the apoptotic bodies, which will express on their surface phosphatidylserine, which will attract the phagocytic cells, and there will be phagocytosis of the apoptotic bodies. In necrosis, what happens? Necrosis, this apoptosis may be physiological. During development, this can occur. Whereas in necrosis, which is always pathological and in response to the pathogen or the external agent, there will be necrosis, so the cell death will be there. And here the characteristic feature is there is cell swelling, cell enlargement, there is inflammation, loss of membrane integrity, there is nuclear degeneration, and due to loss of membrane integrity, there is leakage of the contents, and the cell undergoes cell death, necrosis. So the difference you can see here: cell swelling, cell shrinkage, loss of membrane integrity, no loss of membrane integrity, only the formation of blebs converted to apoptotic bodies, which are phagocytosed by the apoptotic by the phagocytic cells, and these due to the loss of membrane integrity in necrosis, there will be leakage of the cellular contents, which will undergo enzymic digestion. So now let us see what is the difference between apoptosis and necrosis. So apoptosis, we call it as the programmed cell death, whereas necrosis is unprogrammed cell death. Apoptosis is natural, necrosis is premature death of cells. So natural death is apoptosis, premature death of cells, necrosis. So apoptosis is generally triggered by normal healthy processes in the body, whereas necrosis is caused by factors external to the cell or tissue, such as infection, toxin, or trauma. So it is always pathological. In apoptosis, there is no noticeable symptoms related to the process, whereas in necrosis, there is significant inflammation, decreasing blood flow at the affected site, there is tissue death, maybe gangrene. So apoptosis, the effects are usually beneficial, whereas necrosis always detrimental, harmful. And apoptosis very rarely needs treatment. No treatment is required because it is generally occurs in normal and healthy processes of the body. Whereas in necrosis, it always requires medical treatment. Untreated necrosis may lead to death. So in apoptosis, one cell is affected, whereas in necrosis, many cells are affected. In apoptosis, there is shrinkage of cell. In necrosis, there is cell swelling and rupture. And in apoptosis, there is membrane blebbing, but integrity is maintained. You can see here membrane blebbing, and these are the blebs or apoptotic bodies. And there is no here, but here there is no there is loss of membrane integrity in necrosis. There is no loss of membrane integrity in apoptosis. So membrane blebbing but integrity maintained in apoptosis, loss of membrane integrity and membrane disruption in necrosis. There is nuclear collapse, nuclear fragmentation, chromatin condensation, chromosomal DNA fragmentation, but it is non-random. Whereas in necrosis, there is random degradation of DNA, dissolution of the nuclear chromatin, and there is also metabolic collapse and ATP depletion. So in apoptosis, there is formation of apoptotic bodies which are engulfed by macrophages, whereas in necrosis, cell lysis occurs, leading to the leakage of the contents and inflammation in necrosis, whereas in case of apoptosis, there is blebbing and formation of apoptotic bodies. Again, in apoptosis, the mitochondria release pro-apoptotic proteins, whereas in necrosis, there is no organelle swelling, in necrosis there is organelle swelling and lysosomal leakage. And so necrosis, organelle swelling occurs here. In addition to your cell swelling, there will be also organelle swelling and lysosomal leakage in necrosis. And apoptosis mainly follows your caspase dependent pathway and caspase independent pathway. Caspase 3 is the main regulator of apoptosis. And in apoptosis, there is elimination of unwanted cells. 10 million cells per day are actually eliminated from our body by the process of apoptosis. So it preserves the homeostasis of the organism. It controls tissue size and shape during developmental stages. It decreases the number of specific immune effector cells after pathogen eradication. Whereas necrosis is always pathological and important therapeutic tool for cancer treatment. So this is all about the difference between apoptosis and necrosis. Thank you.